this sounds with the headphones on.
And good afternoon. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON on Thursday, March the 29th. And of course, we are on iHeartRadio. Simply download the app to your smartphone or tablet and take us with you wherever. And you can always call us direct, 773-591-1690. And you can get social, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, you know what happens at 3:30 on Thursday. I'm going to ask him why you wanted that played in a minute. But you know what we do on Thursdays? It is none other than the law offices of Theodore Ted London, who does such a great job for us. He's our neighbor, 1718 East 87th Street. Phone number is 773-721-3333. Godzilla, how are you?
Well, Cliff, if it's a Thursday and I happen to be spending this half an hour with you in the afternoon, it is a wonderful day.
It certainly is.
It's such a pleasure privilege to be with you, Cliff. Yeah. Thanks for having me this week again.
Listen, we get so many good responses. If I didn't have you, somebody might hurt me.
No one's heard of Cliff Kelley, I assure you.
How are you?
I'm good, Cliff. I'm good. Here's the reason why I wanted to hear that song again.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Well, I was listening to this song in my office before I came into the studio this afternoon. That was one of my mom's favorite songs. She loved this song. This was a song that she played around the home and sang, and so I don't know why it came into my mind, so I wanted to hear it today, and I did, and so I thought I'd share it with the listeners as well.
It's a nice song.
That's a tribute to my mom.
That's great. That's great.
Gotcha.
That's great. Wonderful.
One other thing, Cliff, before we get started again, we know that last week I was meeting with some of my buddies on the Thursday evening to watch the Loyola Ramblers play.
Right.
We know that I'm an alumni of Loyola, went to the undergraduate school, graduated from the law school as well. I did make it into the office on Friday morning. And then they happened to win on Saturday as well. So it was a terrific weekend for me and my buddies that went to Loyola, went to the law school with me. So going to be an exciting weekend this weekend.
Sure will.
Who would have ever thought that the small school in the north side of Chicago would be in the Final Four? They are. I'm so very happy. And go Ramblers.
Absolutely.
Go Ramblers.
I'm with you all the way.
Yes, indeed,
Okay.
Cliff. Thanks for that.
Okay.
One other thing, if we may, Cliff.
Sure.
I'd like to take this quick opportunity to thank so many of the listeners and our clients who, Cliff, we continue to get so many referrals from people who listen to WVON. They happen to hear Ted London when I appear on the Cliff Kelley show, and once they come into our office, even more than Ted London, but I have a team of great assistants who provide great service to our clients, and they refer so many of their friends and our families to our office. I wish I could mention them by name, but I won't mention them by name. But to all of you who refer your friends and family to our office, thank you so much.
Well,
I do have to. Thanks for prompting me, Cliff. We have Sashay, one of our prime time assistants in our office. He is Facebooking us live now, so you can actually go to the law offices of Theodore London on Facebook, and you can check us out live. And actually, you can do that every Thursday. We're on Facebook Live. And then Shay just told me, coming into the studio today, that you can actually go to YouTube, the law offices of Theodore London on YouTube, and you can see some of our shows. You'll be able to see this broadcast and some of the previous ones. So Facebook Live, the law offices of Theodore London, YouTube, the law offices of Theodore London, and of course, go to our website, tedlondon.net, and please share that information with your friends and family as well.
Ted London everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
That's funny, Cliff.
Which is a good thing. Before we get into something that's really important, Consular, do we have Tales from the Law?
We do have Tales from the Law Office.
That's my favorite.
And that's, you know what, we get so many compliments about that portion of the legal line, so we could hardly not do Tales from the Law Office. Very, very, very busy week, Cliff. We are handling a lot of issues, again, primarily around estate planning and probate. And so we had a gentleman that came in this week. His wife of 25 years passed away less than a week ago. And the home was in her name. She owned the home before they were married. She had one daughter, no estate plan. The house was not in a land trust. Since she has passed away, the daughter wants to put him out of the home. So he's been living in the home for the past 25 years. She does not live in the home. She wants to put him out, threatening to sell the house, really making him unsettled. And so he came in for consultation. I advised him that, first of all, she can't put you out because at this point she doesn't have any standing to put him out. And ultimately, because it was on estate planning, the house is going to go half to the husband and half to the daughter. So ultimately they're going to own the house together. So they're going to have to go through the probate process to get it in both of their names. And then either one of them is going to have to buy the other one's interest out, or they're going to have to go through the legal proceeding and ask for what's called a partition. And the court will order a sale of the home, and then they ask us, we divide it. So he's really stressed out. The stepdaughter's stressing him out, and really this could have been easily avoidable and much less expensive than the process that they're going to have to go through if they would have simply put the property in a land trust. I had another.
He did not get along with his stepdaughter.
You know
obviously.
What? He didn't indicate that he had any issues with her prior to his wife passing away.
She says, "I want the house."
That's right, and she wants him out.
Yeah.
And she wanted to move in, and she wanted to move in with her boyfriend. And of course, he was not pleased with that. He indicated that the boyfriend didn't have a job, and that wasn't going to happen. So it's really a mess. Ultimately, they're going through the probate process. They're going to both end up sharing an interest in the home, and who knows what's going to happen after that.
Yeah, you may have to represent him in criminal
court. I hope not. I'm being facetious.
Yes, you are, of course. Right.
Cliff, then we had I did a home visit for a husband and wife. They've been married for 36 years. This was a referral from a client of ours, and husband and wife, they have 2 properties. The husband had a number of children from a previous marriage, and the wife wanted to make sure that their sole biological child got the 2 properties. She owned a condo before she was married to him, and then they bought a home subsequent to their marriage. So the 2 previous kids from his previous marriage never lived in the home, so she wanted to make sure that her biological son and her husband's biological son got 2 properties. So we put both properties in a land trust. She was very pleased that we got it done, and he was very pleased that we got it done as well. I see a lot of instances where there's stepchildren and stepparents, and there's a lot of confusion when someone passes away if they don't have estate planning. So that was one other matter that we worked on this week. Finally, Cliff, we've had a number of matters over the last number of months when a parent passes away and they had children from previous relationships. A lot of issues between the surviving step-parent and the children. So today we're going to talk about those of you who need estate planning without delay, without hesitation. That means now. There's a list of you who needs estate planning, and we're going to go through that list. And for those of you who need estate planning now, we're going to encourage you to go to our website, tedlondon.net, or like us on the law offices of Theodore, London, and there's a coupon for you there for a discount that's going to be valid for only 30 days. And so please, for those of you who are on this list, please take advantage of the coupon. It's going to save you a considerable amount of money.
That's great.
tedlondon.net, the law offices of Theodore, London on Facebook.
That's wonderful. And you know, this whole situation, and you've done so much for so many, because this is very complicated.
It can be very complicated and very expensive, Cliff.
Yeah, not only, yes, expensive also. But when you start having these people with all of these stepkids and so forth and so on, and half of these people can't even trace some of these folks that
that's a whole separate issue.
That is
a whole separate issue.
Yeah.
And really, what happens, Cliff, like the issue I was telling you about with the gentleman whose wife passed away after 25 years of marriage. Really, the net result of that was a lot of hurt feelings. His feelings were really hurt because I don't think he suspected that his stepdaughter would ever want to displace him from a home that he's been in for 25 years, and then bring in her boyfriend, which my client indicated has no job, does not work, has no money, and he is just in disbelief that this could ever occur. So could have been easily managed by really having that home in a land trust. Yeah.
That's something. So you're handling that, Fred?
We are handling that. We are probating the estate. He is
Yeah.
filing a petition to open up the estate and to be named the executor of the estate. Now, hopefully, she does not contest him being the executor, because oftentimes people do. We know that probate is an area where people fight about a number of things: the assets, the validity of wills, who's going to be the executor of the estate. All these things add up to the bottom line in terms of what people are going to pay in legal fees and expenses.
So who else did London needs to get estate planning done without delay?
There are some people, Cliff, who need to get their estate plan done now. And there's a list of about 10 of them, so let's go through them quickly.
You
if I
want to
may.
take a couple of
Sure,
calls?
that's-
Let's do that. You take, I don't want. Denise, thank you. Denise from the South Side. You're on WVON with Attorney Ted London. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, Denise, thanks for advising all of the listeners that this is a scam that's happening in many of the gas stations. In my opinion, it sounds like the gas station may not have any liability. You pay the gas, they provided the gas, it was just a scam, you're the victim of a scam. And so, unfortunately, it doesn't sound like, to me, in my opinion, that there's any liability on behalf of the gas station. But thank you so very much for again advising the WVON listeners that this scam is occurring.
Right.
And so, listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe they should. You may be right on that.
I agree with her.
Yeah. Let's go to Barbara. Hey, Barbara. Hi. Fine, how are you?
Hi, Barbara. I'm fine, thank you. You know what, Barbara? I have never heard of that either, but I would not object to it. That way you get your money back. So I would probably ask for my money back. I would rather hold my own money. You sound like a responsible lady that's going to pay your expenses. And so there's no file with you getting your money back and then not holding any of your money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was my idea too, to
Sure.
I was just wondering, I thought, I'd ask an expert.
Sure. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay. You're
Yes,
welcome.
indeed.
Thanks for calling. You were going to talk about the estate planning.
And those who need
Without
estate
delay.
planning without delay. I like the way you put that. Cliff. Those of you who need estate planning without delay. Of course, those of you who own your homes outright with no mortgage on your homes, you need estate planning now. We know that the median value of a home owned by an African American is $125,000. That's real money. One of the other things that we know, research tells us, Cliff, is that 1/4 of all African American homeowners, again, their homes are paid for. Because that's 1 in every 4 homes in your block has no mortgage on it. You have to protect your interests, sometimes even against your family, children, stepchildren, sometimes even spouses. Please put your home in a land trust. For those of you who have been married over 40 years, that's a long time. We have so many couples married 40, 50, 55, 56, even up to 70 years. It's time for you people to get an estate plan. I think you're going to make it. I don't care what the other people said when you got married 40 years ago. You're going to make it. Please get an estate plan for yourselves and your family. It's going to save them time. It's going to save them money. If you are retired, it's really time for you to get an estate plan. Really, when I started doing an estate plan almost exclusively, Cliff, I thought that people would be coming in right about the age of retirement, 65, 67 years old. That is not true. Many of my clients are coming in closer to 80 than 65. Some of you younger people who are retired, 65, 70, been retired for years, what are you waiting on? Stop procrastinating. Please get your estate.
So these people that are coming in late, counselor, they're just delaying it.
They're just procrastinating.
Yeah, procrastinating.
It's not like they don't have the money.
Yeah.
Because many of our retired
Yeah, they are retired
people,
and they just aren't doing it.
They have really done well for themselves.
Sure, that's great.
So again, if you're retired, please get an estate plan done. Those of you who are over 70 years old, I know that the number one reason why people don't get an estate plan done, Cliff, is because they are procrastinating. Procrastination equals probate, which equals a good day for the lawyer. Okay, so you have to go through the probate process because you procrastinated to get the estate plan done. Really, the lawyer is the one that's going to benefit
I
from
like
that.
that. I mean, procrastination equals probate.
Equals probate equals a good dinner for the lawyer.
Yeah,
and
right.
so you can avoid sending your lawyer to dinner by getting an affordable estate plan done. Again, some of our clients, Cliff, have no children and they don't have a spouse. Okay, so it's very important for those people to get an estate plan because if they don't, the state won't get your property if you don't have a spouse or you don't have children. Your other heirs will, siblings, cousins, nieces, aunts, uncles, etc. But we'll have to find them, and sometimes that's very difficult. Sometimes you have to hire private investigators, etc. Costs additional money to get that done. Very easy to do if you can make those decisions yourself in terms of who's going to get your home, who's going to get your money. Get an estate plan done if you have no children or have never been married. Here's something interesting, Cliff. For those of you who have over $100,000 in all of your accounts, there are many, many solidly middle-class African-American people who have far more than $100,000 in their accounts. To my surprise, so few of them have any estate planning. So if you have over $100,000, that's the threshold that your family would have to go through the probate process if you didn't have an estate plan. Please, if you have over $100,000, get an estate plan. Here's another caveat with that, Cliff. You don't have to tell your family members, children, etc., that you have over $100,000 in your account. It's all confidential, but you do need an estate plan. So many African American people have done so well, Cliff, over the past 30 or 40 years in that they own multiple properties. Again, the family I talked about where I made the home visit just a day or two ago, they have multiple properties. Those of you who have multiple properties, that means you have streams of income, that means you have a lot more equity. You have to protect that equity, get it to your children, your loved ones, without going through the probate process. A couple other quick ones, Cliff. If you have been diagnosed with an illness recently, had some health challenges, spent time in a hospital, if you or your spouse have had any of these occurrences, it's really vital that you get estate planning. Part of the estate plan is that you're going to get powers of attorneys. Power of attorneys, again, allow you to name the person that's going to make healthcare and business decisions for you if you ever need someone to do that. Again, if you've been married multiple times, you need an estate plan without delay. If you have multiple children from multiple relationships, it's essential that you get an estate planning now without delay. And then finally, I know this because I hear this so often from my clients, Cliff, is that people have been thinking about estate planning for years and years and years before they finally come in to get an estate plan done. For those of you who have been thinking about estate planning for years, please come in and get estate planning done. We're making it more affordable for the listeners as well. This is an offer that we're only offering to our WVON client listeners. If you go to tedlondon.net or the law offices of Theodore London on Facebook, there's a substantial savings coupon on there for you. It's only valid for 30 days. We're not only saying that these people need estate planning, we're trying to make it even more affordable for them to get it. So please take advantage of the coupon.
That is great. And I'm sure a lot of people are listening, Counselor, to what, well, I know they are because I hear it, but there are so many things that you need to do. And if you don't know, you can call and find out.
Sure. Well,
that's as simple.
We answer questions all day.
I know you do.
I love phone calls from the listeners. They call, they ask questions. you know what? I have to thank a couple of professions. Again, retired educators, they get their estate planning done more than any other profession by far. Secondly, retired police officers, they get a lot of estate planning done. You know why, Cliff? Because many of them are married to retired educators. So as a result of that, we get a lot of retired police officers coming in, captains, lieutenants, commanders, etc. We get a lot of younger nurses come in. Nurses come in their early 50s when they get their estate planning done. And most recently, we're getting more retired City of Chicago employees coming in to get their estate planning done. So retired people by far are the people who should have the most urgency in getting their estate planning done. Again, we want to encourage you to do it without delay. And not only are we going to encourage them, Cliff, but we're making it more affordable for them. Only for 30 days. If you go to tedlondon.net or like us on Facebook, the law offices of Theodore London. Shay is shaking her head here. Turn around, Shay, let them see you.
Oh, Jesus.
And we want to make it affordable for you to come in.
I just think it's great what you do, because with all of the information that you put out, Counselor, and all the people I know that have come to the offices of Theodore London and been treated so well and referred other people, and now you're even saying, I want you to do this, I'm even going to give you a break on whatever the fee is.
It's even more than a break, Cliff. It's a substantial break.
Wow.
It's a substantial break. So I don't want to say the number on the air here, but please take advantage of it. If you have the inclination to get your estate planning done over the last number of years that you happen to hear Ted London on the Cliff Kelley Show on Thursdays, now is the time to get it done. You're going to save a substantial amount of money, and you're going to feel relieved that you've gotten this done, because many of you have been thinking about it for years.
Sure.
And it's not like they can't afford it, Cliff.
Yeah.
Again, many of these retired people who are homeowners, who have no mortgages on their homes, they have done well for themselves, and they're just procrastinating, and ultimately that's going to cost their families a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of stress.
It's unfortunate, but what you're saying is totally true, and I'm just glad that you've been able to get to so many people, because I'm sure many of these listening certainly would not even, a lot of people don't even think about it. A lot of folks are still talking about wills.
That is true.
They don't even know.
Well, Cliff, you are really more the ambassador for estate planning than almost anyone, because again, you allowed Ted London to come on the show with you to share the information. And believe me, 9 out of 10 of the people who are coming in for estate plannings, I hear you on Cliff Kelley. If Cliff likes you, I like it. So again, we can't thank Cliff Kelley enough. Well, you certainly do. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cliff.
Always a pleasure.
Mine.
Stay with us now. Let's go to get the latest in the traffic and the weather with Robin Lewis and in the top of the hour news.